All right, stock dads, we're here for another episode. I can't tell you how excited I am today. Fuzz and I, we kind of go together like I don't know, vodka and olive juice. And then we just gonna throw in a big old strip of bacon into this show here. Welcome by my man Hunter Alpha all day. So how we
All day,
doing,
every
Hunter?
day.
How we doing?
We're doing good, man. I saw you get a catchphrase, a nickname if you come on, and what's better than Alpha all day? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
I hear you, man. I love it.
and I like the comparison to bacon. There's nothing better. So
Maybe we change it to Hunter Bacon. I like that.
there you go.
So I'm bringing Hunter on. We've this is like what, your second time on the show, my man?
Yeah, I guess technically it'd be my third episode, but second,
Okay.
yeah, second time recording. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I was able to listen to a few shows here back when we did it the first time here. Looks like you and I are both Texans, huh? You up there in the Grapevine area, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I just bought a house out here in Burleson, Texas, man.
Nice.
Little south, man. So
Kelly Clarkson, baby.
yeah, that's right. We are common Texaneers.
Sweet.
So, I'm not going to ask you to do the dad joke thing again. I think we'll let you slide on this one, my man. But welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us. One of the things that I wanted to kind of ask you about is, I know you're pretty well known for kind of pointing out that GameStop hype. And, I love that play, right? And when I was listening to you talk about the GameStop stuff and all the apes that were going around and changing the markets, one of the things that kind of pointed out to my brain is when you were talking about the value in GameStop, right? We're talking about cash on hand. We're talking, book value, right? It's kind of the opposite of what we're actually have just recently seen with Bed Bath & Beyond. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, talk about some rough books.
Yeah, I mean,
Rough
the
book.
book does it exist for that
I
company?
mean,
Like,
I
know
don't
if they have
understand
a dollar in the
apes
bank.
did it. I don't understand how they got everybody to back them. But you think about a company that just was destined for bankruptcy, and then all of a sudden they got this big, huge juice run, and shortly lived after their CEO sold all those shares, right?
Yeah, those were like 600% inside of 10 days, give or take, right?
Yeah, it was a
Like
big
the-
move. It was a big move.
The
Yeah.
biggest legal pump and dump.
Yeah, and I mean it's totally legal, which hey, that's not our fault. We're within the rules. Whoever does
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
But a buddy actually hit me up 3 weeks ago. He's like, hey, I want to get back in Bed Bath & Beyond. I said, when was the last time you went to a Bed Bath & Beyond? Like, yeah, they got Dr. Pepper ketchup and cheap
Towels.
massage chairs. Yeah, like what else are you gonna get there? I was like, all right, go. I mean, you do you, man. I'm okay. But
Yeah,
no,
I think everywhere. I don't know about you, but everywhere I've seen them have stores like brick and mortars, they've been kicking them out of the complexes, right? I mean, they're shutting them down left and right. I think there may be even one that's close by that's still open. I just not a big fan. Not a big fan. Whenever I can see it happening around me, I go, that's not where I really want to put my money.
No,
Right,
it's like
right.
I don't know if y'all have kids or not. I got 3, but it's if I need something, I'm gonna go to Amazon or Target or Walmart. Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm probably going to 7-Eleven before I go to Bed Bath & Beyond for diapers. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
I'm not going there for anything. But hey, you know what? The market, I think, as you said before we started, it giveth and it takes away, and there's 2 sides to every trade, and props to the people that were on the right side of that one. That's all I can say. Sorry if you weren't.
Yeah. And hope that you're not bag holding.
Yes. Because
Which we can teach you how not to do.
Yeah, exactly. These things can only happen so many times before they
Yeah.
don't. But hey, teach their own.
So just to touch base, you actually work for a hedge fund, right?
I do. So ran my own hedge fund for about 3 years. Ironically, my partner and I just recently decided we're going to end up closing down. We've done okay. The environment, though, has gotten so hard to raise capital. Being like a boutique, a small hedge fund, it makes it really tough to survive. I mean, when I say survive, I should say thrive. Like at the end of the day, I don't want to eat ramen just so I can keep the lights on, if that makes sense. So what I'm probably going to do is roll back over to the wealth management side of things. I got a lot of experience there. So more than likely that's what's going to happen, but we'll see.
You got any prospects? You know who you want to go sit down in the cubicle for?
No, because I mean, with wealth management, you go 2 ways. You can go like the independent RA route, work for a shop, or you can go to one of the big boys, a TD Schwab, a Fidelity, a Creative. I'll figure it out. I got time.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah. Who wants me? I can send you an email, right?
And might as well throw it out there.
Yeah,
right?
I got my resume ready.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Can we put that on the screen real quick? Just flash it for me.
So, one of the things also, Hunter, that I wanted to get your take on here a little bit is the big old AMC stuff that's happening, and and I kind of really understood where you were coming from when it came from talking about the aspect of AMC's a dead business, right? They're not managing their money well, right?
Nope.
They're continuously diluting their shares.
Yep.
Just recently, have not diluted, but are going to dilute those shares come Monday morning.
Yes.
I promise you, it's going to happen. It's just one of those things, right? When you take, I guess a $20 stock, and then you give them $1 of an ape stock, and now you're like $19 here and $1 here. I mean, it's dilution.
In my opinion, when you are a chief executive officer or on the board of a publicly traded company, when you find yourself actively targeting and speaking to like a group of internet traders about your business operations,
right,
it's probably time for you to go, right? And I will caveat this, like, I don't think AMC will die. I don't think I talked about this in previous episodes, but I'm a big believer in, they just got rid of in 2019 the vertical integration, the whatever U.S. government versus Paramount from like the early 1900s. So now you can own production, distribution, and consumption. You could never do that until 2 years ago. So I think the future of movie theaters, you're going to have a Netflix theater, a Disney theater, an Amazon theater. Can you imagine a Disney theater?
That's actually pretty interesting.
That would be dope.
Yeah, you go in there with your kids, though, you're not getting out of there for $300, right? Because they want to ride the roller coaster, take a picture with Mickey, and see, Mulan and The Lion King. And then imagine you go binge like the first 3 episodes of a new Netflix series. I mean, I think that's where the industry's going. That's the only chance it has to survive. I mean, let's be real.
I was even thinking about, because I thought they were talking a little bit about their NFT stuff, right? And I'm thinking, all right, well, how are you going to involve the NFT space into what you're doing? And really, the only way I really see that working out is if AMC sort of doubles down on the experience of going back to the movies, right? I mean, they've got to like do the red carpet events or whatever the cost may be, right? Like, I really think they really need to dig down deep into the experience of going back to the movies and bring people back. And I think that's probably something that's missing.
I mean, I went twice. I saw Top Gun 2 twice in theaters. Fantastic movie.
Of course you did.
Did y'all see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen it yet.
Okay, I'm going to tell you all right now. You got to see it in the theaters, okay? It's better than the first one, if that's even possible. And
is it really?
I think so. It's so good that even like when the plot gets so out there, you don't care because you're like, this is freaking awesome. Like, I'm telling you, man, it's one of the best movies I've seen in 10 years. I could say that hands down. It is so good. And I mean, it's done what, $1.5 billion. So obviously other people think so too.
I think they still have it in the theater down here.
Yeah, it's weird
because it's still out.
Yeah, normally, they'd have gone to Paramount Plus or whatever by now, the direct to streaming. But he's like, I think they're gonna ride it till it's not making $1 million. I mean, it was like in week 8 of the box office, like still being number 1 and 2 against new releases. Like, but it's so fantastic. I'm telling you.
Right.
2 thumbs up. That's my plug for the night. Top Gun 2. Go see it.
after I get through. So I'm getting married August 27th, and we're going on our honeymoon. Maybe I put that on our radar when we get back next month.
It should probably still be there. Where y'all going on your honeymoon?
Antigua.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, man. Okay. So we got this little hut on the water, right on the ocean, and our hut has a swimming pool because we're snobby. Right. Okay. I mean, the ocean just isn't enough water. You also have to be, having your own pool. Right. Sure. It's just ridiculous. But
sometimes you want fresh water. Yeah, sometimes you want salt water.
We're doing all that. And I'm pale skin. I don't know if you guys can tell that through the video here, but man, I'm white, bro. Like, I'm like super white.
We sit inside.
I'm not sure how I'm going to survive out in the sun, man. Just because, like, oh, well, we're going to go pet the stingrays. We're going to go snorkeling. We're going to go look at coral reefs. And I'm like, that seems like a lot of sun time for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm going to make it back.
Get spray tan or the spray screen, whatever it is.
So Hunter, tell me, man, what do you think about these markets, man? How are we going to fare in this bear market rally.
So, I mean, I'll skip right to the point. I'm a raging bull. I am very bullish on America and the markets of the United States. I don't care about these, whatever the hell's going on. You know, everyone gets hung up on the Fed and politics and all this stuff. But like at the end of the day, America just cranks out product and cranks out innovation. And, you know, not to sound like a total xenophobe or whatever, but no one in the world can match what we have, and no one can take what we have. And, you know, you've seen over the last 10 years, everything's slowly been coming back on shore, which nobody talks about for whatever reason. And, you know, I think it's only in 10, 20, 30 years before everything's back on shore. And my opinion is, you know, tech won't even be the fastest growing industry in America the next 20 years. It's going to be agriculture, because I think we're bringing everything back home. And I think globalization is over. And I think if you live outside North America, or you're not one of our very best friends, like in Australia or Great Britain, I think you're going to want to have your money here. And if you don't, you're going to have a rough couple decades coming up. That's my opinion. Wow. Obviously, you know, pure opinion based, just based on what I've seen over my time. And, you know, I just don't think you can bet against American innovation.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. So, yep. I mean, I love that play. And I think I'm kind of the same way. I'm permanent bull, right? Fuzz, how about yourself, man? You pretty much the same way, right? Expecting markets to eventually, over a period of time, reach new highs, keep going to the upside.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I'm a little bit more short-term perspective. So, you know, I kind of take it week in, week out kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with, you know, being on the side of America right there. But yeah, I think, you know, right now we got some headwinds. You know, we still haven't made a higher high on the weekly chart. So I'm kind of focusing in on those aspects for the time being. But for the long haul, I think there's some really good stuff. You know, we're bringing the semiconductors back home. You know, we're building up our alliances, and you know everything's, there's a lot of green pastures ahead. We just got to get through some headaches. You know, it's just part of the market cycle, and you know, we'll get there.
100. Yeah. And I'm not saying like we're going to wake up 3 months from now and be at all time high. I mean, is it out of the picture? No. I mean, technically, I guess it could happen. You know, it's a small probability at this point, right? Like very small. Right. But I'm saying, you know, medium term onwards, I mean, you know, we're going higher. Another reason is, you know, you look at the other developed markets in the world, Europe's falling apart. I mean, Germany, I don't even think they're going to be a country as we know it 10 years from now, but you know, they're completely held hostage by Russia, gas and oil. And
they're having a lot of trouble. Like every week there's like another big situation going on, and it's actually kind of like creepy. You know, is that going to trickle over? You know,
I think it already has. I mean, look, for the past 3 weeks, utilities have been on the rise.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not even winter yet, guys. I don't know if you've been to Germany, but it's cold in the winter, man.
Playing the natural gas already. Like it's happening right now. Go get it. Right. I mean,
Warren Buffett's buying all of Oxy too. You know.
Yeah.
When it starts to get cold, and hell, man, it doesn't even get cold in Texas until like February.
Right.
And it's cold for like a month.
If that.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is not cold in Christmas anymore.
No.
I mean, you got to go fly to New York to find snow for sure.
Oh, no, 100%. But yes, and I just think, you know, all these other like all this money is going to flow. And even if I guess we're like technical recession, whatever you want to call it, market recession, even if there was like a mild depression, whatever it's going to be, most of this money is still going to flow here. And until I wake up and the brightest people from the rest of the world aren't trying to get into the United States, I'm not going to worry about it, if that makes sense. And, you know, there's arenas like that. But yeah, the utility markets, and then you have the argument coal versus gas versus nuclear versus hydro versus whatever other crazy stuff they have, right? And I mean, at the end of the day, Europe, the only reason Europe's been successful as it is because of the United States. And I sound like I'm sitting here like just stroking the US, like, oh, you know, we're the best in the world. But like when it comes down to it, like we brought the world back after World War II, and we've supported it for the last 85, 90 years. And the fact that I think we're about to chop a lot of the spigots off and just say, hey, you know, sorry, like this is not just going to affect markets. It's going to affect trade. It's going to affect migration. It's going to affect food. I mean, it's going to affect everything. You're going to see
change.
It's going to be a time of consolidation and breakdown. And I'm telling you, anyone with any money is going to want it over here.
Yep.
Because
I mean, when we factor European demand along with supply shortages due to that conflict that's happening out there in Ukraine, I mean, a perfect storm is brewing where natural gas is probably going to be the next big commodity dominating the financial headlines here pretty soon.
Big time. And it spiked, right? And then it came down, and then oil spiked, and it came down. And then you had everyone saying, oh, oil's going to $320 a barrel. And we're like, not so fast. But now we're, it's just like, it's a total, shit show, excuse my French. But, that's why at the end of the day, I don't focus on tomorrow or 3 weeks from now. I try to find value, like, I spoke about on some of the previous podcasts, and, value pays over time. I think I'd shared, I started getting in the GameStop, for example, at the $10 to $11 mark, and I rode and accumulated that thing all the way down in the mid twos. But at the end of the day, if value's there, it'll eventually show itself. And there's a couple companies right now that are down a lot that I'm pouring money into as much as I can today. And we can talk about those. I don't even care. and so, there's just what value, when you do something that is unique and innovative, you will eventually be rewarded. The market can only stay erratic for so long, whether it's a month, a year, 10 years.
What are you doing all day? You dumping all your money into HP? I mean, come on, man. Spill the beans. What's happening, man?
I'll drop three quick.
Let's do it.
These are not recommendations, obviously, but if I had
financial advice.
Not financial advice. If I had,
where's my pen?
Some money to dump into 3 companies. These are the ones I'm going to dump into. 2 are U.S. based companies. The third is a Chinese company, and I do not invest in China. It's the only Chinese company I've owned for the last decade. Okay,
gotta be Baba.
It's not Baba. You'll know which one it is because you've heard it. But I'll start with the Americans. We'll start with the good stuff. So number one, I know it got turned into this Reddit meme stock. Full disclosure, I started investing in this company on the secondary market before it was publicly traded. I started getting in around $2 or $3 a share. Anyone that doesn't know what that means, there's companies, just like venture, that you can get access to if you're a accredited investor on the secondary market. But Palantir. So started getting it at 2, 3, 4, held it all the way up to 45. Haven't ever sold a share, still own it. It's a 100 bagger in the next 10 to 20 years. I'm telling you right now, what they do with data, nobody understands it. And that's why analyst after analyst makes fun of CARP and says, oh, they're losing. They're sorry, they only grew 34% year over year instead of 37%, like boo freaking who, right? What they do will be in everything from laundromats to airlines to agriculture to healthcare to defense. They're already all in it, and nobody talks about it.
They just need more salesmen.
They do. They need more salesmen. They just need time. It's the narrative has already changed to not afford it. It's can you afford not to invest in Palantir?
And the contracts that they land are seriously no joke.
They're not. I mean, they're 20, 30, 40, 50 million. And I get it. The government loves to blow money. Don't get me wrong. But in those particular areas, like those,
So Hunter, full disclosure, I work for Textron. And Textron was a competitor of Palantir back in its heyday. And we just couldn't keep up. No. We just couldn't do it. We just couldn't compete. They just have that sector that they deal with locked down. There's no one better. So I'm interested. I'm not going to lie. I have 500 shares at like $10 and some change. So, I mean, it's not green, but I'm thinking, over a period of time, it'll turn itself around and I'll be good.
It will, because all their costs is up front.
Yep. It's
getting in. And once they're in, you can't stop using it. And like you said, there's no one that's close to them, and they're getting better faster than anyone can get better. Yep. And, they're in airlines now. Like I said, they're in all these industries. They're going to be in every single industry. They're going to be in 30 industries that aren't even existing yet. And Palantir is going to be the data analytics. So that's, one of my top 2. My other one, they're not reinventing the wheel, but they kind of are. They get shit on a lot. They've had about 35 analyst downgrades in the last year, but it's Paramount.
I got Paramount.
Paramount is my top number one. This company is such a monster.
I love it, man. Waiting. I love that play. It's a sleeping giant.
There aren't words to describe what this company should be worth. And they get crapped on and they get crapped on. And I'm reading these analyst reports because I read them. I'm a nerd, right? And they're saying these things. And I'm like, none of this is accurate. Like, where are they getting this information? if you're a conspiracy guy, there's a lot of conspiracy going back to the Archicos blow up, and banks lost, what was it, 15 billion, 20 billion, accumulated, a bunch of banks lost, and are they getting pinned? All these things, everyone's like, oh, manipulation, blah. I don't buy all that crap. But if there was one stock that trades in American markets that was happening on, that would be at the top of my list. But when this thing, I tell people they are twice as profitable as Disney and have the same revenue and more revenue than Netflix, right? They're the only one growing subscribers domestically. They just landed these deals in India. They got the Walmart deal. They're just, while everyone else is shrinking, these dudes are just churning and churning and churning. And Bob Backish comes on there, and bless that man, because he just like takes it on the chin. And every time he comes on a call, he's like, yeah, I know we got downgraded 19 times this past week, but I don't know why. Anyways, that's just one of those ones. I get those feelings, teach their own. At this price, was it $24, $25 a share? I mean, it's
Are
basic.
you a subscriber?
Yeah. I use the ad tier. Are you kidding me?
Did you watch The Offer?
I haven't watched The Offer yet.
The Offer is good, man. The making of The Godfather, you got to watch it.
Yeah, with Miles Teller, a big fan.
Yeah,
Star of Top Gun 2, ironically.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But I did watch, I like all the Star Trek, so like I watched the new ones. That was cool. And then I know Yellowstone's not on it, even though it's owned by them, but the 1883, all the spinoffs, big fan of those. But love Paramount. Anyways, number 3, the Chinese stock, it was fraud-ridden, Luckin Coffee. Look, I get it. Everyone knows what happened. Let me tell you right now. Okay. I remembered I was sitting in grad school. I was getting my MBA, and our accounting professor was in there. This was 2019, talking about Luckin and how awesome it is. And it was at like $52 a share, and he's a genius and all this stuff. And then like the next semester, I never saw him again. But the next semester, that thing's at like 70 cents a share, right? Fraud. Yada, yada, yada. It was fraud. We put it on our radar, right? It's over it obviously delisted, right? It went over the counter, still over the counter. So we were watching it. They got rid of all the bad actors. They got some legit audit partners, like Western audit partners, which is very uncommon for anything Chinese led. And then they kept expanding the business. They kept growing the business. They signed all these fantastic deals that are covering the next 3, 4, 5 years with coffee beans, technology. And what they're doing is, so like people don't realize this, but like China as a country, they're tea, right? They were never coffee. Well, now over the last decade or two, the younger population's like, all right, we can get down with coffee, and it's growing at like a massive rate. Like I think they said like 10 years ago, the average Chinese person would drink 2 cups of coffee a year. So I don't know how they function. I drink 2 by 9 a.m. every day.
Yeah,
right?
What?
But, yeah, they would drink 2 a year because they drank tea, but that's slowly been going. They're Starbucks quality, but like knock off McDonald's prices, right? And they're not the kind of shops that you go sit down and steal their Wi-Fi for 8 hours. They're like, you pick it up and go. They're growing faster than anyone in China in the coffee trade. And they're still in China. They're going to expand to the entire Far East. They're going to expand out from there. And they've been profitable now for the last 2 quarters, and no one's even talking about it. Like they are turning a profit despite growing double digits quarter over quarter with the store count. They have refined everything.
Profit, really?
They've been profitable the last 2 quarters.
Okay.
You have to go convert it because it's in Chinese yen or whatever. But yes, they have been profitable the last 2 quarters, and they've drastically reduced their operating expenses. They're humming on all fours, and they're only $14 or $15. They're still, from a valuation point, I think they're only about a quarter or a third of where they were at their fraud height. And I think with international expansion, it's only going to go on before there. So if I was buying something for like the next couple years, Paramount and Luckin for sure. If I'm buying something where like, hey, I know this is going to pay for my kids' college in 15 years, that's the Palantir for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you said, not NFA, baby. NFA.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
Those plays are great, man. Thank you for sharing that. I think that I nailed 2 out of 3. So,
yeah,
I'm in, baby. I'm in. Something that I wanted to bring up, maybe even talk about a little bit more in next show, but something that me and my father-in-law, my soon-to-be father-in-law, have gotten together. We've got hooked into this private equity thing. Do you ever do any private equity stuff?
Sure.
So there's a company out there called Miso Robotics. Have you heard of them before?
I've not heard of them, no.
So Miso Robotics are in charge of building out the Flippy 2. And these are the robots that are hopefully going to start replacing people inside fast food restaurants. These are the robots that make fries, flip burgers, and make all the meals for you. And you just have one person managing the restaurant, the face-to-face interaction. And
Careful what you wish for with those wage hikes,
Well, listen, that's exactly right. I'm investing in the Terminator. Go ahead. I'm every now and then, me and my father-in-law, we just dump an extra $1,000 into the portfolio for it. We love that play, man. So we keep getting into that a little bit here and there. Is there anything that's not like, maybe, I know like I was going to ask you this, but your Luck and Coffee kind of took the realm there. Fuzz, is there any OTC that you really look at, or any private equity opportunity that you look into? No OTCs at all.
Not in my wheelhouse. Yeah, I don't
I gotta get out there, man. I gotta find things.
So you know me, I'm an options guy. So
I day trader through and through.
I'd rather,
my man, I love it.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I'm a die hard. I've been trading options since I was 18, right? Since it's the way to go if you love this stuff. If you don't love it,
right?
Sell a call, sell a put, chill besides that, right?
Chill,
if you love it, man, nothing feels better than when you nail that 8-bagger 3 days from expiration. You're just like, I could do this. And then you lose like 7 in a row, and then you hit that 8-bagger again. And then
I'm like, 3 day, bro. I'm 0 day all day, man. What are you talking
like, market's in 5 minutes. I can still get this. I can get this call.
We nailed Oxy. We nailed Oxy last week, right before the news came out with Warren Buffett. And that was a banger in itself right there. So
that was nailing it again.
It's the hype.
And just to plug that, Warren Buffett increased his stake of Paramount to 12% of the company on his latest 13.
I was reading that when I pulled it up on the news there, and I was like, okay, Buffett is
he buys
getting
oil
involved in there.
He buys oil and Paramount. That's
and Paramount,
oil or Paramount. That's what I want.
And I think he's got a stake in Activision too. Yeah,
he's been loaded. And so full disclosure,
and Activision a buyout name too.
Yeah, the Microsoft bought or they announced that last year. I was a big Activision bull for a long time. They got beat up with that workplace stuff. And then on the Microsoft announcement, it popped back up to like the high 70s, I think.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting out of it then. But I'm still very bullish on Activision. I mean, back in the day, pre-wife, kids, everything, I was a big World of Warcraft guy. I did Call of Duty when I was a kid, all that stuff. And like they were like the first, there was a lot of those massive multiplayer online games. And Warcraft was the first one to like really do it on a scale that was like, there was all those other ones. I get that, but like they were the first one where it was like mainstream, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy's smart. I mean, the fact that Warren Buffett's like 100 and he's still investing for the long term, and I know a lot of it's like his lieutenants and stuff, but you got to think those guys are pretty sharp too, right?
I mean, listen, if Microsoft buys Activision, they're gonna have to clean house
big time, and they'll have to go through a lot of because Microsoft's already a huge gaming empire, right? So I'm sure there's going to be like some monopoly things or all that, SEC stuff and blah, 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 FCC, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, great company, I think. And it's true. I mean, you shouldn't be a D-bag at work, and, everyone deserves respect. So unfortunately, there's a lot of companies out there that are like that, but it seems to be getting better. I don't know. I can't speak for every company, but,
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, Stock Dads, thank you for tuning in to another show. We will be back next Sunday. I won't be here. I'll be getting married and on my honeymoon for the next 2 weeks.
In this pool, baby.
Trying to evade the sun as much as possible. Guaranteed the next time you see me, I may look like a lobster. So
get it while you can,
thanks
man.
everybody for joining. Fuzz, Hunter, thank you guys. Have a great night. And we'll see you all in the Stock Discord, baby.